Hey Hawkeye fans, Chad Leistikow, Rick Brown here. We are going to talk about a season that was for the Iowa football team and what's to come at the Rose Bowl. Iowa, of course, lost Saturday night to Michigan State 16-13 in the Big Ten championship game. And I wrote a story yesterday talking about 10 plays Iowa would like a do-over on or have turn out differently. If any one of them go Iowa's way, they might win the game. What stands out from you from that game?
Well, before we get to that, I think all pregame discussion everyone would say this game's going to come down to a handful of plays, which it really did.
Sure.
It was that close. The play that sticks in my mind is Iowa's pretty much last possession of the game.
Yeah.
Before the 22-play drive, Iowa had the 3rd and 11 at its own 44. Bettert completed a pass to Henry Krieger-Coble for 9 yards. Now, Krieger-Coble had coming in the game, 14 of his previous catches had gone for first downs. If that play goes for first down, that totally changes the whole dynamic of the game. Iowa's on Michigan State's side of the field. Clock's going to run down some more, and they're going to, in position, maybe kick a field goal to have a one-touchdown lead. Never happened because they came up short.
Yeah, and in the fourth quarter, you could see Greg Davis kind of going for the jugular.
Yeah,
he went deep on the first play of the fourth quarter, and then that gave Iowa a 13-9 lead. Iowa got the ball back, stopped him right away. Next play, threw deep to Vandenberg. He was going to be open for a 78-yard touchdown, but the Michigan State defender grabbed Vandenberg. They correctly called it. It was a smart play. But if that defender doesn't get a hold of Vandenberg's jersey, that's a 78-yard touchdown, and Iowa's up 20-9. And at that point, the defense, you think, could hold on to an 11-point lead. They've been doing it all year.
Right. Yeah. No question. Defense. A lot of people, I guess, want to be critical of defense during that. You don't give up 22 plays every day, 22-play drives every day. That defense was gassed. I mean, they were putting in fresh bodies, guys who hadn't played that much, trying to get a fresh body on the field to stem the tide. But it was such a hard-hitting physical game. There wasn't a lot left in the tank at that point.
No. Don't want to dig at wounds too much here, though, so let's move on to a little more positive. Iowa's going to the Rose Bowl. What's your kind of takeaway? Does that completely, medicate, I guess is the word Ferentz was using the other day. Does that sort of take the sting away completely, or is there still something there?
Nah, I think it's like going to the dentist and you get some Novocaine, it feels okay for a while, but then it comes back, it's hurting like crazy again. I think this will be a game that history says will be a game that Iowa has a hard time letting go of because they came so close to winning, which the playoffs are fine, but we're talking a Big Ten championship.
That's true.
They don't happen every day.
True.
Last one, 2004?
None outright since '85.
Right. That's why this hurts. I know the playoffs, you're in the Final Four, and that's all great, and more exposure for the program, like you can't believe.
Right.
But seeing that Big Ten championship slip away, I think takes more than a little medication to get over.
Sure, and you can see that in the players' eyes the other day, especially C.J. Beathard. I mean, his eyes were red. They were all pretty down and putting on as best a face they could to talk about this Rose Bowl.
Yeah, and we saw the captains the next day on Sunday.
Yeah,
they were still down on the ground, and it was a hard-hitting physical game. Talking to Jordan Lomax, he could hardly stand up. He was so sore from that game, and I'm sure the Michigan State players felt the same way. Ferentz made a comment about those guys getting off the bus, flying to going to the airport and getting on the plane. How it looked like a MASH unit. So,
well, they gave it everything they had, no question. Yeah. I mean, they get everything left on the field. In the end, Iowa does get rewarded over Ohio State, the defending national champion, who everybody predicted would be in the Final Four, if not just run away with the playoff. Iowa ends up having a better season, gets into a better bowl by ranking than Ohio State. So you take that away from a 12-1 season, I think that's a positive. Of course, it's Iowa-Stanford 5-6 in the rankings. Ohio State 7-8 in the Fiesta Bowl with Notre Dame. Early impressions of Stanford?
A lot like Iowa, except Iowa doesn't have a McCaffrey running around. He's an incredible football player. I've seen Stanford play a 3 times. Very impressive. Gets yards in a multitude of ways. He's going to be a handful for this Iowa defense to handle. But I will say this, Iowa was very well prepared defensively for the Michigan State Spartans with that, and that was in a week. Right. So give them here 3 weeks to get ready, get healed. I kind of like Iowa's chances. I know they'll have a terrific game plan going in the game.
Sure. Stanford is a 6.5-point favorite, so I think there's a lot of support or momentum, I guess, for the Cardinal, considering how their season started.
Yeah.
Scored 6 points against Northwestern.
Yeah, scored 6 points in the same stadium Iowa would score 40 in about a month and a half later.
Right.
After that first week of the season, you would never, even if after I beat Illinois State, you would never say, "Oh, I like Iowa and Stanford in the Rose Bowl." But season's long, and teams can regroup. And other than losing by 2 points to Oregon, that's the only other loss for the Cardinals. So this is a stout team.
Yeah, beat USC twice. Beat Notre
Scored
Dame.
41 points in both those games.
Yeah. Beat Notre Dame 38-36, so they can put up a lot of points.
Yeah.
It's going to be a real tough game. Of course, it's a very hot ticket. No question about that. Ticket prices are triple of any other bowl game right now on the secondary market, and that includes the playoff games. So Iowa fans are still excited for this. I think viewing it as a once-in-a-lifetime type thing.
Yeah, and I think they would have reacted the same way to a Fiesta Bowl. Peach Bowl,
Nah.
But,
Iowa,
either playing Notre Dame in a Fiesta or playing Stanford in the Rose. But everyone, the old school Iowa guard, the Rose Bowl is the bowl. And you can, they were disappointed when Iowa went the Orange Bowl after the 2002 season.
They
wanted the Rose Bowl. So here we are, and Ferentz is here 30 years after the last time. So.
Yeah. Well, before we wrap up, I do want to kind of focus on Iowa. I think probably the biggest benefit of this 3.5-week layoff is C.J. Beathard gets almost a bye and a half's worth of rest for that groin. If he's healthy, this team is. I went back and watched Illinois State and Iowa State tape recently, and I know you did too. And he's a different quarterback when he's healthy.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'll be 100%, but that is going to help a lot. What else do you think Iowa needs to focus on these next 3 weeks?
I think the defensive line played pretty well, I thought, against Michigan State. Secondary played really well. I think Iowa's really getting its running backs healthy, too. It'd be nice to get Canzeri back. That was kind of a lost element of that Michigan State game, his injury. He went out 20 yards shy of 1,000 for the year. And I don't know, Daniels didn't seem to be running real well, like there might be something up with him. Wadley looked okay, but...
no second-half carries for Wadley.
Yeah, that's true. So, of course, they didn't have a lot of second-half plays.
Not a lot of second-half plays. Right?
7 plays in the third quarter, and I think 18 in the second half compared to 55 for Michigan State.
Yeah,
so
it was nuts.
Kind of hard to get some momentum there. That's one thing. Get control, possession, keep possession of the ball.
Well, we'll have a lot of coverage coming up on the Rose Bowl, no question about it. And a lot of you are going to be there, it sounds like, too. So you'll be able to stay tuned all month long at HawkCentral.com.